Now on Marlborough this week, city-based business owners turned out to Monday's city council meeting to oppose the controversial sign ordinance that would have changed the guidelines for about 90% of city signs. We have what was said and what the final say was.
Beginning this year, students at Marlborough High School are now being offered the option to take Mandarin Chinese. We'll talk about what sealed the deal for school officials.
Plus, the visual reminder that once graced the lawn of one local church has now moved on, but the memory will be here forever, where the traveling display has gone in just minutes.
Plus, a new product is about to change the lives of every couple planning a wedding and how St. Mary's Credit Union is going to help you do it. And
later in this half hour, we have a glimpse of a change to a classic painting that you must look closely to see, but it's one that shouldn't be missed. It's all straight ahead on this edition of Marlborough This Week. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette.
And I'm Dan Corcoran. It's a controversial sign ordinance that could have changed the face of Marlborough. Just about every city-based owner, from an antique dealer to a pizza maker, turned out to Monday night's city council meeting for a public hearing, and they weren't there to mingle. Most came with one mission: to oppose a sign ordinance that would have changed the guidelines for about 90% of signs in the city. And guess what? They did just that. After hearing the opposition side, City Councilor Patricia Pope tried to explain why there was such an ordinance in the first place.
I would like to express our opposition to this proposed sign ordinance because of the negative economic impact and the financial hardship it will present to the business community.
Central draw. Tell me how people find their way around a town with no signs when it's supposed to be a central draw.
My sign is my front door, and it directs the public as who I am, Skin and Bones and Renaissance Antique Restorers, where I am, 75 Lincoln Street, and what I do, upholstery and woodworking for antiques. We're not a bedroom town, but a nice place to live and work.
Time and temperature signs. The clocks move. The temperature changes. What a terrible thing to have that happen where someone can see it. The country club has 3 freestanding signs. Let's remove 2 of them because they're so offensive on that many acres of land.
But under this sign ordinance, this is now illegal. So the next time you go to a funeral and the funeral can't park in front of the church, don't be dismayed. Just take solace in the fact that there's no backlit signs on Route 20.
Council. The Sign Review Committee was formed at the request of myself and Councilor Katz because we both felt it was appropriate to look at an ordinance that was written in the mid-'80s and tied so closely to technology, which has changed so much since that time. I can honestly tell you, the Sign Review Committee had no personal agenda. I hear this time and time again throughout the city recently, and it's simply not true. These 6 months of review on a weekly basis, the committee felt it was time to share its deliberations and ideas with the City Council and the community as a whole. We never got that opportunity. I had hoped that the sharing of ideas would be a thoughtful governmental process. That wasn't what happened. It turned into stonewalls and stalemates. And instead of being met with enthusiasm, we received negative comments and bad feedback. We knew it wasn't a perfect ordinance. However, it was the best that the committee could come up with. Again, it was never the intention of the Urban Affairs Committee to have this snowball into the mess that it is.
Summer unofficially ended last week, and what better way to jumpstart the fall than with the 56th annual Labor Day Parade. Thanks to Parade Director George Wampum, the parade went off without a hitch. Spectators lined up for the annual parade that featured floats, bands, marching units, clowns, and much, much more. Since 1952, the city has concluded its end of summer events with a gala parade, earning it the reputation of being the state's largest Labor Day parade, which always features the best bands and marching units.
Total number of flight hours logged, 35. Round trip ticket from JFK to Beijing, $3,000. Standing on the Great Wall of China with Mary Carlson, priceless.
When school officials began to think about introducing Mandarin Chinese into the language program at Marlborough High School, it wasn't enough for them to just research through books and workshops. Instead, world language coordinator Maureen Grulich and high school principal Mary Carlson decided to see for themselves. The two hopped on a plane and flew to China for a 2-week intensive tour of the country. The trip is what sealed the deal, and now students at the Marlborough High School now have the option of taking Mandarin. Contrary to the Marlborough High School system, schools are forced to drop another language when they want to add one. But luckily for our students, Marlborough didn't have to do that.
A Medford developer is seeking a special permit to convert the decaying State Armory on Lincoln Street into 12 residential condominiums. Mr. Ming Wang, who bought the armory from the state during an auction 3 years ago, purchased an unused home next door to provide parking for the facility. If the permit is granted, plans call for 12 units totaling nearly 20,000 square feet. A public hearing on the proposal will be held at City Hall on Monday, September 24th.
7 city councilors are now backing a bill to create a code enforcement team that would ultimately work together to ensure code compliance within the city. It would mean stricter enforcement of building and housing codes. Mayor Nancy Stevens states that an informal process already exists among city departments, but a formalized system would be better. The request has now been moved to the Finance Committee for review.
In business news this week, Marlborough-based Seprecor Incorporated has now signed a lucrative agreement to market its insomnia drug overseas. GlaxoSmithKline agreed to pay Seprecor up to $155 million to license and milestone payments for worldwide rights. Seprecor shares rose 85 cents or 3.1% to close at $28.34 on the NASDAQ stock market.
Why settle for the same old wedding gifts, pots, pans, toasters, and towels? With St. Mary's Credit Union's new product, Matrimony, you won't have to worry about returning gifts or choosing just one store. Matrimony allows you to receive the gift of cash so you can conveniently spend your money where you want and on the things you actually need. Matrimony provides an elegant way for engaged couples to request cash by making deposits right to a Matrimony wedding account where it will earn interest immediately. And guess what? It's very easy.
A person would come into one of our credit union branches and ask to open up a Matrimony account. We would then provide them with a kit, and in the kit are some announcements that say basically we've established a Matrimony account, and if you want to donate to it, here's how. On the back of that card would be the instructions. People can then either mail a check to the credit union, or they can come into a credit union branch and make the deposit in person. The money goes into that person's Matrimony account. We send an acknowledgement to the engaged couple so that they can then acknowledge the gift with the gift giver. Over the past decade, the age at which couples are getting married has been creeping upward, and I think today it's probably in the 25 to 28-year-old range. And at that stage in people's lives, they've established a household. They may have established 2 households. A couple getting married may have had 2 separate households. Their issue is combining the 2 households into one and getting rid of things rather than taking in more things. So the need at that stage of your life really is not for more things, but cash to use for things like paying off student loans, putting a down payment on a house, paying for your wedding.
For more information on these special wedding accounts, please visit stmarysScu.org.
The next time you're driving around town, stop and take a look at the brightly colored paper bins marked by bold green and yellow colors. You may be used to your regular blue recycling bins, but after this story, you may change your current habits of where you drop off your old newspapers and magazines. Here's Dro Rama Valiente with more.
Did you know the average family throws away over 4 pounds of paper every week? Well, you see, when we throw away paper, we're actually contributing to the fact there's mounds of landfills all over the country. But check this out. It doesn't have to be that way. Through the paper retriever containers, you're able to recycle all of your papers, magazines, newspapers, etc., while donating to your favorite cause.
Paper Retriever is a free paper recycling program meant to be used by the community. And you may have noticed the big green and yellow containers that has the golden retriever on them. Those are our containers free for everyone to use.
As you're driving around town, look for the bright yellow signs as they will lead you to one of the paper bins.
The Marlborough Senior Center, we have one available for the whole tenants organization to use. The seniors and the tenants who live here, they hadn't had any recycling going on. So we were able to bring one of our containers, knowing that they had a lot of people living here, I think in the 300s, so hoping that they would recycle, and as it turns out they have. They've been one of our most consistent recyclers here in Marlborough, which is great to see.
The green and yellow paper containers are provided to schools, churches, nonprofit organizations, and businesses for paper recycling. These organizations encourage the nearby communities to recycle paper and help increase the local recycling rate.
For my paper, I can bring it to the nearest paper retriever container and I can support that organization. For instance, the schools, it all gets paid to the schools. The senior center gets paid to the Senior Tenants Social Activities Fund, if you want to support that. If you want to support the Boys and Girls Club, you can bring your paper there. So, and Marlborough doesn't lose that paper. In fact, we actually contact the DPW at the end of the year, let them know how much tonnage was recycled in the whole city of Marlborough. They get to add that to the recycling percent. Whether you recycle at the curb or with our program, you're reducing the trash outlay that the city of Marlborough has to pay. And that is a serious, I'm not sure what the amount per ton is, but it's in the $100 to $120 per ton range that the city of Marlborough, for instance, pays to get rid of trash. So anyway, and I'm a resident of Marlborough, so any way we can reduce that is a benefit to our whole tax base.
Paper Retriever wants all of your newspapers, magazines, office and school papers, shopping catalogs, and your mail. But please, no plastic, glass, metals, or trash.
Why should we recycle? Well, because we're going to hopefully save the earth a little bit. It's great for our environment, and we're actually paying to these organizations. It's a great, great cause that we can all do. We can all do our little part. We all say, well, what can we do to help? What can we do to help the environment, this, that, and the other thing? The environment is hot right now with Al Gore and his movie and other things. What can we do? Recycling is a little but huge step that we can take.
To learn more about how you or an organization you're involved with can participate or to find the bin nearest you, log on to thepaperretriever.com.
Once filled with over 4,000 flags, the lawn outside of the United Methodist Church now seems empty, but those who took the time to stop and think have a much different picture in their minds. Although bare, the lawn now represents the servicemen and servicewomen who have been killed in Iraq and Afghanistan. The field of flags had been planted on the lawn of the church as a tribute to those who have risked their lives for us. The tribute truly hit home for many, and now the display has traveled to the Unitarian Church of Hopedale. We encourage anyone who missed it here in Marlborough to make the trip to see it.
Well, although the ice was cold, the hearts were warm as the New England Amateur Skating Foundation hosted an evening for Evita on Friday, September 7th, at the New England Sports Center here in Marlborough. Evita Ice, a well-known figure skating coach, was diagnosed with leukemia in March of 2007. The special evening was then created by her friends and colleagues to assist Evita with medical and family expenses.
She's been sick since last March, the end of March, and we figured out she wasn't going to be able to work for at least a year. Hopefully she'll be back in a year. And we were trying to think of different ways to earn some money for her. All these people have taken to heart the cause that one of our own, another skater, is very sick. So we're hoping that all of this money will help to keep her going.
If you'd like to donate to Evita's cause, you can do so by logging onto the event's website, eveningforevita.com.
The next time you're traveling on Route 20, take a moment to look at the famous Mona Lisa painting. You can't miss it. It's the front door to the Post Road Art Center. And if you haven't seen it, you have to go by and check out Mona's major makeover. Former Marlborough resident Bruce Collins had completed the original painting and was in town for a few days. He then decided that she needed a fresh coat of paint and a new look. For more before and after photos of Mona, go to the center's website at postroadartcenter.com.
This past torrential Tuesday may have ruined some outdoor plans, but its soaking rains may have been just what the parched region needed. Over 1 inch of rain was reported, which amounts to nearly twice the total rainfall the city of Boston received during the second driest August on record. While not officially a drought, the recent lack of rain has prompted water restrictions in some areas. Despite the stormy weather, experts say that the danger has not passed, as a dry forecast is expected for the next several days.
We definitely need that rain for fall foliage, because we don't have the rain, no color.
That's true.
You know that.
But enjoy this last couple days of the Indian summer.
I know, I love that time.
Good weather.
Coming up later in this half hour, the moment you've all been waiting for. Our very own Brendan Rosnow is back with some local sports.
And how often do you use your ATM? Well, coming up, how much one bank is hiking a user's fee for non-customers.
Plus, Tuesday marked the 6th anniversary of the 9/11 terror attacks in 2001.
When we come back, a look at how New York City, Boston, and even Oprah Winfrey paid tribute.
But first, a look at your local weather.
Hello, I'm Paul Miner, Executive Director of Massachusetts 211. 211 is a non-emergency information hotline that provides callers with the information they need to solve many of life's everyday and sometimes critical problems. Whether it's finding government benefits or services, nonprofit organizations, support groups, crisis response, and official information, Mass 211 can help. This free and confidential service is provided to you by your local United Way. So remember, when you need non-emergency help, call 211.
Marlborough School Committee members took a moment of silence at Tuesday night's meeting to mark the somber anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in 2001. Another year has passed, and yet for those whose lives have changed forever that day, the great pain lingers. The memorial service in Lower Manhattan on Tuesday paused 4 times, twice to mark the times that the planes hit the towers, and twice when each tower fell.
At the State House on Tuesday, a memorial to the fallen Massachusetts firefighters was dedicated. The event was a tribute to 9/11, but also to the recent deaths of 2 Boston firefighters. The deaths of Warren Payne and Paul Cahill on August 29th led to an even more somber tone to Tuesday's planned ceremony when the memorial was unveiled. The memorial that stands in Ashburton Park aims to honor all firefighters, past, present, and future. The permanent memorial will feature a center sculpture surrounded by a ring of honor, which will include engraved stones and bricks that celebrate the lives of firefighters. Well, get ready to dish out more to get access to your own money when you visit an ATM. Bank of America is ready to hike its cash withdrawal fees from $2 to $3 for non-customers. This is the highest fee of its kind ever imposed nationwide by a major bank. Here in Massachusetts, it's going to take place over the next several weeks. Consumer advocates worry that other banks will follow suit. Well, just ahead, long before the annual Labor Day Parade begins, another annual tradition is taking place. And in case you missed it, we have all the hilarious highlights.
Plus, the first school bell has rung, but are you prepared to fuel your child throughout the school year? I'll show you how to do exactly that when we come back.
Hello, I'm Captain Ron out of the Marlborough Fire Department, reminding you to install, check, and maintain your carbon monoxide detectors, because what you can't see, smell, or taste can hurt you.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down.
Welcome back to Marlborough this week. As the morning madness has begun, it's time to get the kids ready for school. But how do you know if you're making the grade when it comes to a healthier power lunch? There is only one way to guarantee that your child is getting exactly what they need. The start of school brings many worries for parents, such as heavy backpacks and too much homework. But there is one thing you can be in control of, and that's your students' lunch. Now, despite school cafeterias trying to offer a better selection, there's only one way to ensure that your child eats a power lunch every day. And I'll show you how.
Welcome to this week's Power Minute. Most school calendars are about 180 days long. Now, that's a lot of school lunches. But with a little thought and a little planning, you can eat healthy meals at school every day. One way to make sure your meal is healthy is to pack it at home. That way you can make sure to get enough from different sections of the food guide pyramid. For example, you can have a turkey, low-fat cheese, lettuce, and tomato sandwich on whole wheat bread with mustard, an apple, orange, or pear, a small salad, and a carton of non-fat milk. Now for dessert, try low-fat pudding or yogurt with low-fat dry cereal or granola. I like to add a little bit of nuts at the end to give an extra kick of nutrition that'll hold you over right until dinner. Overall, it's a pretty healthy meal, even with dessert. When you don't have time to pack a lunch, eating cafeteria food is okay too. Just take a minute to think about what you're eating. Keeping to a healthy eating pattern while you're at school takes a little more thought and work, but it is worth it to stay on track. You'll have more energy and be more alert during afternoon classes.
Some homeowners have been wary of jumping on the green bus, but the recently formed group, the Climate Action Network, is ready to tell you that there are simple, practical solutions that you and your family can do to help save the earth and your money. If you're thinking you don't know where to start, New Ecology Incorporated will be hosting a Greening 101 seminar. The seminar will be taking place from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, September 25th at the Marlborough Public Library. The session will target private homeowners and teach them how they can reduce their environmental impact while lowering their energy bills.
Well, do you have books at home that you no longer want? Well, if you are thinking about trashing them, listen up, as the nonprofit organization Hands Across the Water needs you. This nonprofit organization has a used book collection program at the Church of the Holy Trinity, located at 116 Union Street. The charity takes all kinds of books, paperbacks, hardcovers, fiction and nonfiction, books for children as well as adults. And you can drop off the books inside the church hallway at any time during the day, and all your donations will be donated to starved libraries and schools globally. Now, for more information, please call the charity directly at 781-438-4051. Now, everyone has books at home from their
just
kids.
Lying around.
Donate them.
Right.
Don't throw them away.
Someone needs them.
Someone always needs them.
That's right.
Okay. But now we have to go to Gina. She has a fabulous dog this week, and she's at the animal shelter in Sudbury with that dog. Hey, Gina.
Thanks, Kristen. Today we're here with Harley, and Harley has a lot of energy, and he's a happy dog. And he's going to be a great companion for an active family who's looking for a dog to train. He's smart, he's quick, he's excellent with other dogs. He came to us from a rescue group in Maryland. They had nothing but wonderful things to say about Harley, and he's been great for us here at the shelter, but he is going to need a lot of exercise. So if you're interested in Harley, please call us here at the shelter. The number is 978-443-6990. Thanks.
The Boys and Girls Club Date for Kids is all about the importance of meaningful relationships between caring adults and young people. And guess what? It's happening this Saturday. This year, radio DJs Ramiro and Pebbles from Jam 94.5 will be there, as well as the New England Surge and Worcester Shark players. All the fun will take place from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Mary Dennison Field on Beaver Street in Framingham. For more information concerning the event, please call 508-485-4912.
Well, maybe it's just some Jet jealousy, but the NFL is ready to point some fingers. Patriots coach Bill Belichick and Patriots owner Robert Kraft spoke Wednesday about the commotion surrounding accusations that his club spied on the Jets.
Well, there's an investigation going on now, and perhaps an adjudication of it, and I think it would be inappropriate at this time to make any comment.
I made that statement on it. That's all I have to say right now. I'll make a comment when it's over.
As of Thursday, Bill Belichick will be fined $500,000, and the Patriots itself will have to pay $250,000 in fines. 2 high draft picks will also have to be forfeited. We'll keep you updated as information unfolds, but for now, let's turn it over to our very own sports guy, Brendan Rosnow, for a look at some local sport action.
Hi, I'm Brendan Rosnow, back from summer vacation with your Marlborough Sports Report. The football season finally began last Friday with the Marlborough Panthers welcoming the defending Eastern Mass Super Bowl champion Wayland Warriors to Kelleher Field. To Kelleher Field we go, where the Panthers displayed many of their new fresh faces that will be important pieces to this year's team. The most important of which is quarterback Josh Carter, who has a cannon for an arm and, as evidenced by this 40-plus yard run, can scramble as well. Midway through the quarter, George Jordan makes a perfect read of his Wayland pass and takes the pick 37 yards home to give the Panthers an early 7-0 edge. Another fresh face, A.C. Carter, will be a factor on both sides of the ball. Here he is on special teams with a hard hit, and then on offense with a nice catch and run. Graham Mason, a running back, shows some Panther trickery with this halfback pass to Tyler Reddick. Unfortunately for the Panthers, none of these plays would end in scores. In the third quarter, Wayland took control of the game using their special teams. Watch the outside rusher for the Warriors here not only block the punt, but recover it as well and go the distance for a 21-7 Warrior lead. In the same quarter, the Panthers' inability to get off a punt results in a safety. Panthers did not go down easily, stuffing this scoring threat in the fourth, but the Warrior offense was too much as they ran away with a 30-7 win. Assabet also suffered an opening night loss, falling to neighboring Hudson 27-22. Alex Moore passed and ran for a score, and Dave Parker gained over 100 yards on the ground in the loss. Assabet's 340-plus yards of rushing could not offset a 27-6 Hawk lead in the third quarter. That's sports for the week. I'm Brendan Rosenau. We'll see you at the game.
Thanks, Brendan.
Now let's take a moment to see what else is going on around town. Here's a look at your community calendar.
Finally this week, we have a little treat for you. Now, in case you didn't know, the 56th Annual Labor Day festivities kick off long before you set up your lawn chair along the parade route. An annual competition takes place every Labor Day from 9 to 11 a.m. in front of City Hall on Main Street. Hosted by the Marlborough Lions Club, this annual event gets people up and out of bed, literally. Here's Rob O'Keefe with more.
Perseverance, courage, honor, a teddy bear. For 27 years, the bed race tradition has lived on, each year showcasing the best bed pushers, pillow stuffers, and corner tuckers that Marlborough has to offer.
I'm very excited today because the committee chairperson, Greg Short, did a fantastic job. He brought together 14 beds, and it was a real good turnout down here on Main Street. And each year it gets a little more interesting.
Returning champions Stitch This were expecting a repeat, but their path to glory would be put to the test. Newcomers, the committee to elect Sean Navin, had stacked their team with the brute force of 30-somethings. And with their hypersonic time of 1 minute and 54 seconds, they sent a clear message to the rest of the field that they were here to win. The young legs of Murphy Insurance Agency, even with the help of Batman himself, could not overcome the time set by Navin. So as others tried and crumbled in defeat, all hope now rested upon the shoulders of the returning champions.
Feels great to win. You know, we won it last year, and there was a lot of pressure for us to win it again, and we did it. It felt great.
We got youth on our side. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
We had it broken down to pillow and sheets. We had it under system, pretty good. Make our beds every morning, you know, we get a lot of practice in.
And so champions they were, and champions they shall stay. Until next year. Until next year.
That looks like it was a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Kristen Doucette. Have a great week. Coming up right now on Marlborough Week, residents and business owners highlighted their opposition at a recent public hearing. Reaction now that the opposing ordinance has been tabled.
About 250 union delegates will be gracing the streets of Marlborough next week for an annual convention. We have what it means for you.
At a press conference, Mayor Nancy Stevens announced that a brand new award will be given out annually in conjunction with the Heritage Festival.
Plus, thanks to the upcoming fundraiser Dancing with Celebs Marlborough Style, your local hospital is about to receive a colorful boost. We have what's in store.
And it's all straight ahead on this edition of Marlborough This Week.
City business owners turned out to last Monday's City Council meeting to oppose the controversial sign ordinance that would have changed the face of Marlborough.
And as a result, the ordinance has been tabled and now business owners can rest easy. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette.
And I'm Dan Corcoran. The City Council held a public hearing at the recent City Council meeting to allow comments on a proposed sign ordinance. Whether by letter, email, or in person, residents labeled the ordinance short-sighted and ill-conceived. As a result, residents are now breathing a sigh of relief as the ordinance has been tabled for now. Residents felt that the ordinance had the greatest of intentions, but most left feeling misguided.
I was devastated. All the expenses that a new restaurant has to put out, it was very devastating to know that my only frontage was going to be gone. I didn't have the expense to spend another $12,000 for a new sign. It was a great relief to know that the sign ordinance was tabled. I had planned that sign to look a certain way, and it's exactly what I wanted.
When I purchased this real estate, it was an important thing for me because of the location that I have a sign, and it was here when I bought it, and it was something that was important. Wrote a letter to the City Council regarding my feelings, and then obviously when we had the City Council meeting, I also expressed my feelings there as well. As clearly as I could, that they were well-intentioned, but I felt misguided and short-sighted. As I said at the meeting, that we are actuated by a bunch of small businesses that have drive, they have dreams, but to put that load on, it's really not fair. The city, I think, has some issues, but I felt that enforcement was a better thing. I went through the proper channels to get the permits and to make sure that everything was okay. And I'm sure that throughout the city there are things that are not done that way, and that was part of the issue. And I think it would make more sense to target those things than to target that which is already permitted and correct.
State health officials have now confirmed 2 more human cases of the West Nile virus, a 53-year-old woman from Arlington and a 48-year-old woman from Worcester. The 2 cases are the first of the season contracted from mosquito exposure within Massachusetts. In an effort to reduce exposure risks, people are urged to drain standing water and avoid going outside during peak mosquito hours. To continue our coverage of the West Nile virus, we talked to Timothy Deschamps of the Central Mosquito Project to bring you updates and some important information all residents should know.
We work closely with Mass Public Health, and what they do is monitor mosquito populations through a series of mosquito traps throughout the region. We also supplement that program in our member cities and towns. And what that means is mosquitoes are collected each week and are then identified according to species. And the species that we are concerned about virus transmission are tested for those viruses. And if they come up positive, then we have discussions with the city to determine what is the appropriate next step. As the temperatures get cooler, mosquito activity does lessen. But this is also the peak time for virus transmission. So the message we're trying to promote is to observe personal protective measures, such as using repellents when you are in mosquito areas, use long sleeves and long pants if possible, and to be aware that the dawn and dusk hours tend to be the peak mosquito activity times. So if you can limit your outdoor activity during those times, you would be reducing your risk from these diseases.
A Marlborough man was apparently insane when he killed his wife and dumped her body in the woods. On Tuesday, a judge at Middlesex Superior Court ruled Richard Hartogensis not guilty by reason of mental illness on charges that he killed his wife. His wife, Maria Hardogensis, was found in the woods off Elm Street, not far from the couple's recently purchased home on Evelina Drive in Marlborough in 2005.
A Hudson man was arraigned in Marlborough District Court on Monday on charges of assault to rape and assault and battery. The arraignment was in the wake of an incident that occurred last Friday night. According to a police report, 49-year-old John Mariano of 595 Main Street allegedly pinned down a woman and tried to force her to have sex. Police arrested Mariano at 11:30 p.m. that evening. Mariano had scratch marks on both arms and upper body at the time of the arrest. He was released on $500 cash bail.
The AFL-CIO is a national trade union center, the largest federation of unions in the U.S., which is made up of 54 national and international unions. Together, they represent more than 10 million workers, 600 families of which reside right here in Marlborough. 250 delegates from various AFL-CIO affiliates across the state will be attending their annual state convention right here in Marlborough.
It's all about organizing. It's all about the Employee Free Choice Act and majority authorization here in Massachusetts. It's all about health care. Health care is the single issue that cuts through every union contract. Every family is concerned about the cost of health care and access and quality and whatever. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about reorganizing. The state AFL-CIO of this tremendous mindset to bring younger people into the labor movement. I'm getting on in years, and as is a lot of staff and a lot of leadership and local unions, we've got to set the table for our younger members to assume the legacy of the labor movement, to start to have take ownership of it, to start to talk about how they see their future and how they intend to get there. So we're going to have a futures convention after this convention, invite lots of younger union members 35 and under to come and tell us what they think about the future and how they're going to manage to improve on what we've left them.
In addition to the convention, the Massachusetts AFL-CIO is promoting its 9th annual Walk to Cure Cancer.
Massachusetts AFL-CIO Walk to Cure Cancer, and it is at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. And the Cancer Research Center is actually named after the Massachusetts AFL-CIO. You don't see many healthcare facilities named after unions, but we've made a great contribution. We pledged $5 million. We raised about $4 million already. We started with 3,000 people back in 1999 and raised about 300,000. And this year we're going to be maybe 10,000 of us. 300 or 400 teams walking in honor of somebody that passed away. It is the biggest fundraising event in central Massachusetts, actually in anything east of Boston, quite frankly. It is the biggest event, getting 10,000 people to come together for a common cause that affects every family. But the labor movement's there. We're community folks, and we're going to cure cancer.
In case you didn't know, Marlborough 2010 is a public-private partnership created to foster economic development, to stimulate projects to improve the quality of life for the city residents, and to enhance the image of Marlborough and to redevelop neglected neighborhoods. Of course, all of this requires a bit of funding, and as of Friday, the largest investment to the 2010 corporation was given.
I'm so pleased to be here today with you, Jerry, and I thank you on behalf of the Marlborough 2010 Corporation for everything that you've done for the city. And I understand you have a large check.
A large physical check.
Large physical check. And this makes Raytheon the largest contributor to the Marlborough 2010 Corporation, so I'm very pleased to have you here this morning.
It is Raytheon's privilege to be part of this organization. One of the things Raytheon takes very seriously is our civic responsibility, and we like to engage in our local communities, both on the economic development front as well as the educational front.
On Monday, Mayor Nancy Stevens and several state officials addressed a crowd of local businessmen and women in a session that touched on everything from Marlborough's current businesses to the future of gaming in the state. Monday's 2010 annual conference stressed the importance of infrastructure improvements within the city and believes that should be the main focus. In addition to Friday's generous donation, Marlborough has recently received nearly $11 million in state grants. The bulk of that $11 million went to the city's upgrade of the city's water treatment plants, and $75,000 went to the installing of new windows at the Main Street Senior Housing Project.
New this week, the Heritage Festival, which is sponsored by the City of Marlborough and the Marlborough Regional Chamber of Commerce, is on its way. The event will feature a road race, vendors, food, and the popular Chowder Fest. But new this year, a heritage hero. At a press conference earlier this week, John Noble was named the 2007 recipient of the Marlborough Heritage Hero Award.
It's my pleasure today to announce that the award recipient for the Heritage Award for 2007 will be John Noble. Congratulations, Mr. Noble. It's great. For those of us who have known John for a lot of years, John is the Marlborough historian, as Janet had talked about. We are both in Rotary Club, and John is the Marlborough historian. He has served on the Historical Commission, the Historical District Commission. You've served on numerous boards and commissions throughout the city, including he is the chairman of the Board of Trustees for Marlborough Savings Bank. So it is my pleasure to announce that this award will actually be presented at the Heritage Festival, but we are here today to just make the announcement of the award. Mr. Noble has been just a wonderful member of this community. There's never a time where you ask him to do anything that he doesn't gratefully say yes. And he is a wonderful person, and we're proud to have him as our first recipient of the Heritage Award.
This is the first year the award will be given out annually to a Marlborough citizen that has been active in either promoting Marlborough's heritage or preserving buildings, pictures, and memorabilia. John will be given the award during the festival, which will be held on Sunday, September 30th.
The city's public schools have been chosen to receive a grant aimed at improving College Board advanced placement courses. Over the next 6 years, $13.2 million will be granted to fund the project. Superintendent Barbara McGann says that the money comes at a time when the district is increasing AP training among its staff. Marlborough is one of only 7 other districts to receive this grant.
South Street residents received some good news when a Southborough developer withdrew a request for a special permit to build 5 townhouses at 69 South Street. The existing house would have been torn down to be replaced by a single 40-plus foot high structure containing 1,400 square foot condominiums. The site is almost directly across the street from Ward Park, which overlooks both the park and the former Bigelow School.
Marlborough's new senior center is coming along quite fast. This week, steel workers and builders continued piecing together the new Pleasant Street facility. Currently, seniors reside in a building on Main Street. The new building is set to be ready in the spring of 2008.
As you all know, or at least should know by now, that the local version of a national show is about to hit the city. Dancing with Celebrities Marlborough Style will be kicking off on Friday, September 28th. But more importantly, this event will be jump-starting the fall funding for a healing garden project aimed for the Marlborough Hospital. We caught up with Terry Reed, a healing consultant affiliated with the hospital, to learn more about this great initiative.
A healing garden is a place where patients, families can go and actually is restorative. At one time in history, most hospitals had gardens. However, in the course of the 20th century, gardens were done away with because medical technology, the advances, and also the economics of sustaining hospitals, pharmaceuticals, pushed everything to move into much more of the body realm. And often the emotional and mental and spiritual aspects of patient care were neglected.
However, in the course of the 21st century, especially over the last 20 years, there's been a resurgence as people are trying to connect not only with the patient, but with the family as well. Hospitals in themselves can be frightening places despite the fact there is so much care.
Hospitalization is very stressful. Testing is very stressful. Coming to visit family members is very stressful. And actually working within this current medical system, the medical model, is high pressure for the practitioners as well. Everyone seems to be spinning out of control. And what we're hoping is this healing garden will provide the atmosphere that allows people to take a moment, to take a breather, to de-stress, to reflect.
Hospitals are actually taking into account all aspects of human behavior and are wanting to provide an environment that is less frightening and more conducive with natural healing that doesn't increase people's stress. With the technology being as it is, with procedures moving so quickly, patients and families don't even have the time to really come to terms with what they've been dealt with.
Hopefully this garden will also provide a place where family members and their practitioners can actually meet and discuss their medical condition, their treatment programs, and hopefully as this program expands, the first phase will be the development of the garden. The second phase will be educational, incorporating the community to run programs in the garden, as well as horticultural therapy, actually ongoing, working with the environment, working with plants, and to rekindle people's, hopefully, their spirits.
The goal of Marlborough Hospital is to have the Healing Garden independently funded, mainly through private donors as well as grant funding.
First actually exciting major event is actually going to take place next week, and it's Dancing with the Celebrities, Marlborough style, and some of the proceeds from this fundraiser are going to the garden project.
The area that is looking to be developed is the front area of the hospital where the big beech tree is, and about 6,000 square feet is looking to be developed.
I think that this could really help Marlborough Hospital because Marlborough Hospital will be a pioneer in this area. These gardens are, as I said, there's a resurgence, and there is beautiful healing gardens and already developed in Lynn and Boston. Multiple hospitals have caught on and are developing their gardens. So I would love for Marlborough to be the community hospital that sets the trend.
If you'd like to learn more about the event or the Healing Garden itself, visit the Marlborough Junior Women's Club website at marlboroughjuniors.org.
And speaking of donating to area hospitals, Premier Martial Arts is offering a free Karate for Concentration class this Saturday at 11:30 in the morning. The offer applies to all local school-age children in an effort to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Premier Martial Arts, located at 449 Boston Post Road, will donate $10 to the organization for every child that attends the class. These funds will aid in an ongoing fight against childhood cancer and other diseases. Those who can't attend and would like to make a donation can call Greg Riddle at 508-229-2545.
An unusually dry August has caused some leaves to change color early. Normally bright colors like you see here are present at this time, but due to the fact that rainfall is more than 75% below normal this month, forced some red maples and even oaks to drop their leaves early. The faded yellow leaves appearing on some trees now is not an indication of an early or dull fall foliage season. Fall blows in this Sunday at 5:51 a.m. and it's supposed to be just gorgeous, so maybe some more color will pop up over the next week. Well, I hope that fall weather brings in some nice color. I miss it.
Yes, most of the trees around here already have a little bit of color.
A little bit.
Just
but
a little.
I want a little bit more.
Wait till next week.
I will.
All right, well, up next, 3 major casinos could be just what the state needs to generate millions of dollars. We have details of the governor's lucrative plan.
Plus, a new $5 bill with extreme high-tech security features has a new color and made its digital debut on Thursday.
And coming up later in the half hour, if you're looking to tackle unwanted calories, we have a game plan that you might want to take to your next football party.
In this week's Power Minute, I kind of gave some game day faves a makeover. But first, a look at your local forecast. Three new casinos to be built in separate areas of the Bay State would generate millions in new revenue to repair the state's roads and bridges in addition to property tax relief. On Monday, Governor Deval Patrick announced that his plan will bring $300 million to $500 million annually in taxes and thousands of permanent jobs. Casinos will be built in the western and southeastern areas of Massachusetts and one of the greater Boston area. The state also plans to launch an educational campaign that would address the potential addictive nature of gambling.
Well, from an 11.5% hike in the state gas tax to a new 5-cent per mile highway user's fee, the recommendation highlighted in a transportation finance report released on Monday could prove to be a tough sell on Beacon Hill. This comes as part of a solution to a $15 to $19 billion hole in the state's transportation spending over the next 20 years. The gas tax is designed to spark a debate on the best way for the state to bring in the extra money needed to maintain its aging network of roads, bridges, and rails. Honest Abe will now be called Colorful Abe, as purple and gray will be lighting up the new version of the $5 bill. The government displayed the new bill on Thursday during an internet news conference. Officials say that a new high-tech version is entirely appropriate for a 21st century redesign of the bill. In the new design, pastel colors are added as part of an effort to stay ahead of counterfeiters and their ever more sophisticated copying machines. The next bill to get a makeover will be the $100 bill. Well, coming up next on this edition of Marlborough This Week, our very own sportscaster is back, and he has a sports update that you just don't want to miss.
And don't forget, we're here to tell you can still indulge without the guilt. That's coming up in this week's Power Minute. Stay with us.
Hi, this is firefighter Marcus Senko with a fire safety tip for you. All too often, we tend to be distracted while cooking in our kitchen. Neighbors coming to the door, or your telephone is ringing. Unattended cooking can cause fire. Here's a tip for you. Purchase yourself a timer. And there's also a neck timer. This timer is good because if you get distracted or leave the room, you will have the timer with you around your neck. You can purchase these timers at any local hardware store. So when timing is everything, be smart, be aware, be fire safe.
Are you looking to tackle unwanted calories? Well, if you are, we're giving you a way to still indulge at your football parties without the guilt this year. From burgers to dips, we gave game day snacks a healthy makeover. Take a look. Welcome to this week's Power Minute. Professional football players have heavy, regulated diets, but clearly they're working that all off on the field. Now, the same can't be said for all of us. To avoid packing on the pounds during football games, there are simple things that you can do. Traditional football party snacks are typically fattening and include fried chicken, wings, chips and dip, cheese and crackers, beers, cookies, brownies, and even more. Now, maybe what you didn't know that you can save calories and fat by making simple changes in the recipes you already use, or by choosing alternative snacks that are equally as tasty for your game day snacks. Whether you are a die-hard football fan who is known for throwing the best game day parties every year, or are just planning a quiet family day around the TV, odds are you will be snacking. But you don't have to end your healthy eating streak over a football game. Creating the crunch without the calories will be the MVP of good health by adding small sliced veggies like carrots, celery, and even baby tomatoes to your game day spread. Add a low-cal dip like fat-free ranch dressing, hummus, salsa, or low-fat cheese, and you've got a delicious snack everyone will enjoy. Game time feast without chips? No way! You can still have a crunchy snack without derailing your diet with baked chips. They're low in calories and are trans fat-free. Our favorites are kettle chips, but watch your portion sizes since calories can easily add up. A lighter version of the traditional party favorite pizza is easy to make. All it takes is some fresh tomatoes, basil, low-fat mozzarella onto a whole wheat crust. Add some ground cracked peppercorn, your guest will be shouting Mamma Mia. Potato skins coated in oil and packed with bacon, cheese, and sour cream are a nutritional nightmare. For lighter football fare, forgo the oil and load a sweet potato with reduced fat cheese and non-fat sour cream. You can gain weight if you overload in healthy snacks too. Calories are calories, so watch how much you're eating and stock yourself after a reasonable amount of food. Place more emphasis on the game and the companionship than the game day snacks. Avoid eating during halftime and commercial breaks by socializing, playing a game, or recapping the exciting plays.
The New England Patriots took to the field last Sunday night like they had something to prove, that they don't need to spy to get the job done. They pounced on the San Diego Chargers, winning the match at Gillette Stadium 38-14. Now let's turn to Brendan Rose now for a look at some local sports action.
Week 2 of the football season is not usually must-win territory, but with the possibility of being 0-2 and heading to Leominster in a week, the Panthers needed to get a win under their belts. Off to Gardner we go, with Josh Carter moved the offense throughout tonight, completing 11 passes for 146 yards and picking up another 57 on the ground. Carter connected with his brother, A.C. Carter, and Lane Garvey, but his favorite target on the night was George Jordan. With the game scoreless, Carter lobbed his pass to Jordan, who looked like Randy Moss going over the defender on this play for a 12-yard Panther score. Jordan also established himself on defense as the Panthers' front provides the pressure forcing an errant throw that Jordan is more than happy to pick off. Jordan would finish the game with 8 catches for 79 yards. In the fourth, with the game tied, Gardner scored with under 4 minutes to play. The Panthers embarked on a game-winning drive that Tyler McElman capped off with 46 ticks on the clock, bulldozing his way in from the 3, and the Panthers left Gardner with a 14-7 win. 2 weeks ago, Assabet racked up over 300 yards and lost to Hudson. Last week, the team gained over 370 yards and got the win, 28-14 over Maynard. The Aztecs were without the services of 2 starting running backs, but Nick Johnson filled in admirably with a 77-yard, 2-touchdown day performance. Alex Moore was near perfect in the air, completing 7 of 8 passes for 140 yards and 2 scores. Assabet will play their first league game this week against Hudson Catholic. Tune in next week for a recap of that game and of the Panthers' battle with Leominster. That's sports for the week. I'm Brendan Rosenau. We'll see you at the game.
Thanks, Brendan. Looking to raise responsible children? Well, I know, who isn't? But the financial specialist from New York Life Insurance is going to make it easier as they will be presenting a free seminar for parents, grandparents, and other caregivers on how to raise financially responsible children. The event will be held on Wednesday, September 25th at 7 p.m. at the Marlborough Public Library. Participants will learn age-appropriate techniques to help children earn and appreciate the value of their allowance, develop good saving skills and investing habits. For more information, call your new library director, Sal Genovese, at 508-624-6901.
Wow.
That sounds like a good thing to me.
Good tips there.
Yes, definitely. We have to go now to Gina. She's at the animal shelter in Sudbury with the Animal of the Week. Hey, Gina.
Thanks, Kristen. We're here today with Rocco. Actually, now he's known as Cooper, and he was adopted out about 2 years ago and returned recently because his owner said that she had trouble housebreaking him. He is used to a crate. It's more that he tends to mark a little, which a lot of little dogs do, especially Chihuahuas. He's a little nervous, but he's very sweet. He's an excellent lap dog, as you can see. He's good with cats, and I think in the right home, he's going to make a wonderful companion. So if you're interested in Cooper, please call us at the shelter. The number is 978-443-6990.
Thanks, Gina. A group of highly motivated, computer-savvy students would like to help you. The Business Professionals of America Club at the Marlborough High School is currently enrolling members of the community and computer training classes that will run for 4 consecutive Fridays beginning with October 5th. Now, classes are free and open to the public, but donations will be accepted. To register, please call 508-460-3500, extension 7699.
Finally this week, we want to remind you, New Ecology Incorporated will be hosting a Greening 101 seminar. The seminar will be taking place from 6 to 8 p.m. this next Tuesday, September 25th at the Marlborough Public Library. The session will target private homeowners and teach them how they can reduce their environmental impact while lowering their energy bills.
Well, I'm going.
You are going.
Anybody who misses it, I'll give you a little recap next week.
Fill us in.
Of course.
Right. Well, if you want to hear about anything else that's going on around town, you can take a look at your community calendar. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Marvel This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Kristen Doucette. Have a great week.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Coming up right now on Marlborough this week, the annual AFL-CIO convention was held in Marlborough this past week, and despite some negative comments, the labor union is here to tell you they're here to stay.
A pinkish hue will be cast throughout the city during the month of October. We'll tell you why and how you can get involved.
Get ready to become an expert in math and science as Marlborough schools have been awarded a special grant. How the superintendent feels about this great opportunity.
Plus, the average home is responsible for producing twice the greenhouse gas emissions than the average car. Want to change that? Well, New Ecology Incorporated says you can.
And it's all straight ahead on this edition of Marlborough This Week.
Union leaders are speaking out in Marlborough this week, fighting the idea that the labor movement is coming to an end.
Well, at the annual AFL-CIO convention, the president of the organization, Robert Haynes, says don't count out unions yet. Welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Kristen Doucette.
And I'm Dan Corcoran. About 250 delegates from various AFL-CIO affiliates across the state attended their annual convention held at the Marriott Courtyard Inn. According to the Metro West Daily News, speaking at the 50th annual convention, Robert Haynes said that stories about the deaths of unions are exaggerated and predicts that the labor movement will soon enter a second renaissance. Other union members attending Thursday's convention were equally confident that the labor movement hasn't breathed its last breath.
We've never been doing better. We're growing, we're organizing new members. We got new members coming in. More people are affiliating with us all the time. In our last election in 2006, we turned out over 75% of our members turned out to vote for candidates that we had endorsed. We have an economic program, and we've engaged on the biggest economic education program that we've had in the history of the AFL-CIO. So we feel very, very good about the future. We think momentum's on our side, and we think next year we're going to get a worker-friendly president and a worker-friendly House and Senate that will actually pass laws and protect working people and normal people rather than rich.
In addition, Governor Deval Patrick signed a bill at the convention to make it easier for people in the public sector to join unions.
Just an FYI, students of working families are eligible for various union-sponsored scholarships given by the AFL-CIO. Members can look into these programs and apply for wonderful opportunities that make continuing education more affordable.
Scholarship program is a $963,000 operation at this point. We're hoping to reach $1 million for 2008. It is a statewide program where high school seniors that are graduating, going off to some form of higher education in the fall after graduation, they're able to take a labor history exam. It's a 40 multiple choice question test with an essay question. They take it right at their high school, so they could take it right at Marlborough High School or any other high schools that are in the area, private, whatever. So they take a test, the test comes back to us, we score them, and then based on test scores, awards are given.
For more than 10 years, the Union Plus Scholarship Program has supported working families pursuing post-secondary education. Now, you can check out more information regarding this opportunity at massaflcio.org. Nearly 3 years after he lost a leg at Marlborough Auto Repair, a Brazilian man who entered the country illegally has now received $35,000. The money comes from the State Department of Industrial Accidents in compensation for his loss. 42-year-old Sergio Silva was working for Loser Automotive Sales Incorporated, which did not carry workers' compensation. The Compensation Trust Fund initially denied him because a judge could not find any evidence that Silva was working for his employer at the time of that accident.
A pellet gun accidentally went off at the Marlborough courthouse on Tuesday. No one was injured. The gun had been brought to Marlborough District Court by a Marlborough police officer as evidence in a case. The officer carrying the gun did not realize there was a pellet in the gun and was not familiar with that type of weapon. According to Marlborough Police Chief Mark Leonard, it was an accident, and procedures are being put into place to make sure something like this does not happen again.
Marlborough 2010 is a public-private partnership created to foster economic development, stimulate projects to improve the quality of life for city residents, and to enhance the image of Marlborough. Of course, all of this requires a bit of funding, and as of last week, the largest investment to the 2010 corporation was given. Raytheon Corporation donated $25,000 to the initiative at last Monday's 2010 annual conference, stressed the importance of infrastructure improvements within the city and believes it should be the main focus. Now, John Reardon, Executive Director of Marlborough 2010 Corporation, states that with Marlborough's courageous leaders, the sky's the limit.
We had some people, to kind of use a trite expression, but they thought outside the box. We had some people with a vision and people who have a real civic commitment to the city. I'm thinking of people like Michael Hogan, Nancy Stevens, Arthur Vigent, people who came together from different political perspectives, from different walks of life, from different employment situations, but all said, this is a great city. We've lived here most of our lives, if not all of our lives. We want to make it everything it can be. We had some people here in Marlborough who weren't afraid to say, you know, we'll make a leap of faith. We had tremendous support from Steve LeDuc and Pam Reeser in the legislature and in the state senate. That was just vitally important. And when they buy in, and when you can convince them that you can get something done, I think that the sky's the limit in terms of what we can accomplish.
Well, after several years, the city's Little Soho is beginning to take shape. Finally, a public hearing was wrapped up at this city council meeting on Monday night concerning a 12-condominium development.
It was the very first time that the developer came in and sort of unveiled his plans. I think they were going to convert it into about 12 condominiums. It'll go through a review process here in the city. I think it'll ultimately become reality. Hopefully the market will stay strong and they'll have a market for what they're selling. We think that it's going to help the city, you know, by having quality housing for some of the large employers who have people come from elsewhere into the city right now, but then they leave at the end of the day. We'd like to capture some of that and have those people say, gee, Marlborough's a good place to live. It's a great city. It's got a good economy. It's got good vibrancy. I have a good job here. I'd like to live here.
The new development is aimed for the former National Guard Armory on Lincoln Street. City Councilor Patricia Pope says that many details must still be handled, such as traffic studies and parking details. The committee is set to be finished with those details by January of next year.
Massachusetts has been awarded one of the first ever National Math and Science Initiative grants for AP and pre-AP courses for the Marlborough Public Schools. Now, Massachusetts was selected among only 7 other states to receive the first grants given by the National Math and Science Initiative.
ExxonMobil stepped up to the plate and established an opportunity for states nationwide to participate in an initiative to improve math, science, and English language arts advanced placement opportunities. As we know, students who participate in advanced placement courses are more likely to go on to college and more likely to succeed in life. Our goal is for advanced placement delivery to be in every single classroom in Marlborough. And we think we have the potential to do that.
The grant, which was announced last week at the State House, will support extensive training of teachers, identification and cultivation of lead teachers, additional time on task for students, and financial incentives based on academic results. This partnership between higher education institutions and local school districts will train new and current teachers the skills needed to effectively teach math and science in 21st century schools.
Well, students at Marlborough High School are learning skills necessary for a lifetime of career success. The Young Adult Employment Initiative at the Marlborough High School Career Connection prepares students for employment by offering pre-employment skills training along with job or internship placement. The program was designed to prepare young adults for the 21st century jobs to ensure that students are connected with services and opportunities that will meet their needs. The program is located on the 2nd floor in the back of Marlborough High School in the library. For more information about the program and locations, visit mswreb.org.
A Hanson Company's request to build a school bus storage and maintenance site on Hayes Memorial Drive has nearby homeowners in the city's economic development group a bit worried. The building would store Marlborough school buses in addition to storing buses for sale. Now, residents and city officials are raising concerns within the project, including traffic, noise, and a possible zoning conflict. Councilor Patricia Pope will ask for a traffic study and any other information the project needs. The city solicitor and building inspector will begin to see if the storage of buses for sale is allowable under the industrial zoning law.
A pinkish hue will be cast throughout the city during the month of October as various groups will do their part to promote breast cancer awareness and prevention. The groups participating range from the City Council, the Boys and Girls Club of Metro West, the American Cancer Society, and the Marlborough Hospital. In addition, visitors to Marlborough will be greeted with reminders at each main entryway to the city with displays of the color pink. Anyone wishing to purchase a pink breast cancer awareness ribbon can do so for a donation of $5 throughout October at the building department located on the second floor of City Hall.
The average household's energy use contributes to the degradation of the environment we rely on and live in. Most of the energy we use in our homes comes from burning fossil fuels, which produce greenhouse gases. Now, in fact, the average home is responsible for producing twice the greenhouse gas emissions that an average car emits. Thanks to New Ecology Incorporated, Marlborough residents got the chance to find out exactly how to stop contributing to this and, of course, how to go green.
On Tuesday night, numerous Marlborough residents turned out to a free greening seminar, Greening 101. Now, few homeowners would be willing to tolerate sweltering summer heat or chilly winter conditions just for the sake of saving energy and making a contribution to a better environment. But New Ecology Incorporated wants you to have it all: energy savings in a more comfortable, healthier indoor environment for you and your family.
Well, we want to take what we've been learning on the projects we've been working on and expand them and let people know, because we think it's really important that people get educated on this and have the tools and the knowledge to change their behavior and improve their living spaces in their homes. And in Marlborough, I mean, it's just great. We've been working with folks with the CDCs here, and it just gives us a chance to help the folks that are interested in this town make a difference here. So that's why we're here.
The free workshop targeted what the average homeowner can do to reduce energy consumption, which in turn will save money on utility bills and improve air quality. Workshop attendees left the workshop with a clear idea of the most important and significant energy and money-saving changes that can be made to their homes.
I would focus on the water issues. I mean, it's the easiest thing to replace: faucet aerators, shower heads. If you're looking to replace your toilet, replace it with a lower flow model. The payback is so fast, and really in terms of things that you would need to invest in to green your home, it's probably one of the cheaper things that you can do.
Very simple, very cost effective, and will have huge benefits in terms of water conservation. So taking those baby steps first is a great way to start.
The seminar seemed to be quite a success, and most participants left with a yearn for more.
One thing I learned tonight, that there are toilets out there with 2 push buttons. One has a lower flush rate as opposed to the other one, which is a 1.3 gallon flush rate, which was, I did not know that.
It's very elating to me to see how much interest there is in this area in renewing our energy systems and using energy systems that aren't defiling our environment. I think they should be repeated on a regular basis, because the only way that you're going to spread the word is by regular education.
The workshop is part of an ongoing effort to get community members to take that extra step to unplug electrical appliances when not in use, turn down that thermostat, replace light bulbs with incandescent ones, and maybe, just maybe, use a clothesline. Green Marlborough members hope that the community will take advantage of workshops like these in the future.
Seminars like this carry out our mission by helping to educate the people in Marlborough to know what they can do to make a difference in their home and in the community for themselves and for the environment.
Everybody should attend these seminars. You learn so much. We all have to do our part to take care of our community, of the world, and where we're going in the future. It's our duty to do that.
For more information about upcoming workshops, please visit greenmarlborough.org.
The semi-annual citywide hazardous waste collection will be conducted on Saturday, October 13th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Items such as antifreeze, batteries, cleaners, polishes, and pesticides can be dropped off at the Easterly Water Pollution Control Facility, and that's at 860 Boston Post Road East. Tires, medical waste, and explosives will not be taken in the collection. For a complete list of items or for additional information, you can call 508-481-1933.
The autumn equinox occurred early last Sunday morning, but the weather is not paying any attention to that as summer-like temperatures graced us this week. This week was sweet as sugar as we had a record-breaking forecast. The forecast coming up still looks beautiful, a little cooler, drier, Air is to come, but still continues a trend of above normal temperatures for this fall season.
It's kind of nice.
Did you enjoy it?
Of course.
Oh,
beautiful.
I loved it. I love warm weather.
It's beautiful. Well, up next, hot weather means a longer mosquito season, and now more insects with Triple E and West Nile virus are being found. We have the latest information.
Also ahead, have you ever had to circle the airport endlessly when you're trying to pick someone up? Well, a new service launched at Logan this past week may make a huge difference.
Plus, coming up next in this half hour, all you need to know about pumpkins.
In this week's Power Minute, I'm going to tell you that the fun begins after you carve your Halloween pumpkin. But first, a look at your local forecast.
He came from somewhere back in how long ago. The sound of the fool don't see, trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created. Once in her life, she musters a smile for his nostalgic tale. Never coming near what he wanted to say.
State officials are out with a new anti-terrorism plan. The goal is to make sure that all agencies are on the same page. Governor Deval Patrick's new strategy focuses on transit and port security. It boosts up the number of surveillance cameras at the state's transportation hubs. The state is working on better communication between public safety agencies, coordinating evacuation plans, including setting up 3 temporary shelters and a web-based alert system that would allow emergency text messaging to cell phones in case of an attack or natural disaster. Now, Homeland Security officials said that it will take a few years to complete some of the new security strategies. The warm, lingering temperatures does not only mean additional beach days, but more mosquito danger. As of last week, 2 more Massachusetts residents have been infected with mosquitoes carrying the deadly West Nile virus, and public health officials are saying that the risk of contracting the disease is still very high. Risk from mosquito-borne illness will not be reduced completely until freezing temperatures becomes widespread in the area. Now, please be sure to listen for all health advisories on the television, radio, as well as the local paper.
Well, do you hate picking people up from Logan Airport because of the parking problems? Well, help has arrived as signs went up on Monday at a new parking lot. As you already know, you can't park on the curb, and the car garage is a haul in addition to being quite expensive. Now, there is a new cell phone waiting lot located on Harborside Drive next to the Hyatt Hotel. There's space for 50 vehicles, and the best news is it's free. You can only stay in the lot for 30 minutes, and you must stay inside your vehicle. But when that phone call comes, you're less than 5 minutes away. Well, retailers may have little to fear this Halloween. The National Retail Federation says that shoppers are expected to spend more on this holiday this year than last. The average shopper will spend $23.33 on Halloween costumes. In addition, 73% plan to stay home and to hand out candy, and 28% will throw a Halloween party.
Where do you fall?
I don't know. Actually,
I'm throwing a party.
Halloween
so.
party? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I come to yours?
Maybe.
All right. All right. Well, still to come on this edition of Marlborough This Week, wondering how the Panthers did against Leominster this week? Well, stay tuned. We have that answer coming up.
And don't forget, Pumpkin Power is about to come your way. We're back in a moment.
Hi, this is firefighter Marcus Senko with a fire safety tip for you. All too often, we tend to be distracted while cooking in our kitchen. Neighbors coming to the door, or your telephone is ringing. Unattended cooking can cause fire. Here's a tip for you. Purchase yourself a timer. And there's also a neck timer. This timer is good because if you get distracted or leave the room, you will have the timer with you around your neck. You can purchase these timers at any local hardware store. So when timing is everything, be smart, be aware, be fire safe.
This time of year, many families will get the biggest specimens they can find, collect their kids, and have a pumpkin carving party. Although this is great fun, there's just one problem. After the outside is carved, most of the time the inside is just thrown away. It may not seem like a crime, but the meat and seeds of a pumpkin have some major health-boosting effects. Welcome to this week's Power Minute. Between Halloween, harvest decorations, and Thanksgiving pie, these guys are the season's symbol. Not only are they fun to carve, but they're fun to eat, as they boost the nutrition of every meal, every time.
They're orange and they taste great in pies, but how much do you really know about the greatest of the gourds? Well, when it comes to Thanksgiving, it's pumpkin pie that has become the American tradition, and guess what? this confection of creamy pumpkin is actually good for you. Beta-carotene is a powerful antioxidant that researchers now say may help protect you from certain cancers, heart disease, and stroke. A slice of pumpkin pie can provide the same amount of beta-carotene as a whole carrot. Rich, creamy pumpkin pie, still warm from the oven and topped with a dollop of chilled whipped cream, may be the best way known to enjoy this colorful veggie. Besides being the star of that traditional dessert, pumpkin can add a pleasing taste and texture to everything from appetizers to soups, stews, and even chili. There's a serious side to this jolly member of the squash family. Those cans of cooked pureed pumpkin on your pantry shelf probably have more of a healthy phytonutrient called beta-carotene than any other food in your cupboard. Our bodies can convert beta-carotene, a carotenoid and antioxidant, into vitamin A, a nutrient essential for good eyesight and proper growth. Pumpkins, of course, make you think of Halloween or Thanksgiving, but their seeds are great to nibble on all year round. Not only are they a tasty snack, but pumpkin seeds can also protect your health. These flat green seeds are freshest in the fall during pumpkin season, but you can find them in the supermarket any time of the year. They have a sweet taste and a chewy texture and are filled with nutrients. They also help fight against disease. Pumpkin seeds are so good for you. In addition to zinc, they are also a very good source of iron, copper, protein, magnesium, and monounsaturated fats. They also boost your immune response and lower your risks for certain cancers. Get ready because next I have a pumpkin power smoothie. Smoothies aren't just for summertime. Smoothies can be enjoyed year-round. And pumpkin adds a richness to this smoothie with very few calories and more than a daily serving of beta-carotene. All this smoothie takes is a half a cup of pumpkin puree, 2 cups milk, 1 cup of fat-free vanilla yogurt, cinnamon and nutmeg to taste, and 4 ice cubes. Mix it up and voila, you have a powerful pumpkin breakfast with tons of antioxidant activity. Winter squash is an excellent source of vitamin A, vitamin C, potassium, dietary fiber, manganese, omega-3 fatty acids, thiamine, copper, and the list goes on. So this season, get one to carve and one to eat.
Well, it was a big win for the Panthers football team last week, but let's see how they did against Leominster this week. For that, we go to Brendan Rose now for a look at some local sports action.
To say that the Leominster Blue Devils had a score to settle with the Panthers might be putting it lightly. Last season, the Panthers upset the mighty Blue Devils, who at the time were considered one of the top teams in Central Mass, in Marlborough. Last week, Leominster got their chance for revenge, and they did not let the opportunity pass them by. Sean Mahoney, with some final words of encouragement for his troops, knew he would need a big game from Josh Carter if the Panthers were going to keep up with the vaunted Blue Devil offense. Carter was up to the challenge early, but it would not be enough as the Panthers fell 34-6. In the first, George Jordan runs a great slant route, shrugs off the interference, and grabs a touchdown, much to his approval of his coach for the Panthers' lone score of the game. It was Jordan's second receiving touchdown of the year. However, the Panthers' defense could not keep the Blue Devils off the board, with the Leominster rushing attack hurting the Panthers throughout the night. One bright spot for the Panthers was the play of A.C. Carter. I promise you that this sophomore will make a name for himself in the coming weeks. The versatile running back is a threat to take a handoff or a pitch, or leak out to the middle of the field for a long pass play. Josh Carter finished the game with 191 yards passing, with 8 of his completions going to his #1 target, George Jordan. Jordan now has caught 16 passes in the last 2 weeks. The Panthers return to the field this week to take on Westborough. It will be the Panthers' first league game of the season. The Aztecs celebrated their homecoming last week in grand fashion as they hammered Hudson Catholic 29-6. Dave Parker kicked off the festivities by taking the pigskin on the first play of the game, 66 yards to the house for a 6-0 Aztec lead. The Aztecs then recovered the kickoff, and 3 plays later, Parker hauled it in from the 9. Justin Flanagan put up a 70-yard TD run on the next drive, and the Aztecs were in full control. The Aztecs added 2 more scores, a touchdown and a field goal, both in the first half as they made quick work of the Green Wave. The 2-1 Aztecs will take on winless Worcester Vogue this week. Tune in next week for highlights of Marlborough's battle with Westborough and information about the Aztecs game at Worcester Vogue. I'm Brendan Rose now. That's sports for the week. We'll see you at the game.
Thank you, Brendan. As you all know, the Heritage Festival is this Sunday, September 30th, and something very special is being offered. The Marlborough Junior Women's Club will now have items available to support our soldiers. Cool ties, which are polymer-filled scarves, actually lower body temperature by 1 to 4 degrees and will be available for a donation of $3. Now, in addition to denim squares, will be also available for $1, which in turn will be made into a quilt and will be part of Operation Quiet Comfort. And lastly, bring your spare change to support Quarters for Quarters, which raises funds to build homes for veterans.
The Marlborough Fraternal Order of Eagles will be sponsoring a free child safety event. The event will also be offered at the Heritage Festival this Sunday. The event will be offered right outside Sorrento's restaurant. That's at 128 Main Street. The Heritage Festival will run from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., rain or shine. So hopefully the weather will hold out for that.
I hope so too.
Yes.
But right now, we have Wanda.
Wanda.
She's at the animal shelter in Sudbury with Gina. So let's let Gina tell us about Wanda. Hey, Gina.
Thanks, Kristen. Today we're here with Wanda. And Wanda is a Sato, which means that she's a stray dog from Puerto Rico. And she's a really sweet little girl. They think she's about 6 years old. She may be a little more, a little less. But she's perfect for a lot of people because she is very laid back, easy to walk on a leash, very gentle, good with other dogs, not really hyper. So, you know, if you just want to hang out on the couch, Wanda will do that with you. If you want to go for a little walk, she'll do that too. So she's really a good fit for a lot of situations. She is available and ready for adoption. And if you're interested, you can call us at the shelter. The number is 978-443-6990.
Thank you, Gina. If you love your local library, it's your turn to give back. The Friends of the Marlborough Public Library have announced their 38th season Superbook and Bake Sale. Their largest fundraising event ever will take place over a 3-day period. The sales will be in the Bigelow Auditorium of the Marlborough Public Library on Thursday, October 4th, and will carry on through Saturday, October 6th. Now, those who would like to help in either the book or bake sale, or for more information to donate books or baked goods, can call 508-485-0290. Books are now being accepted at the library.
We'll get ready to barbecue as the annual steak barbecue is about to hit the city. The annual event is planned for Sunday, October 7th at the VFW on Fitchburg Street. Entertainment will be provided by Jim Holt. It will include steaks, baked potatoes, corn on the cob, and salad. The cost is $10 for adults and kids are free. For tickets, please call the club at 508-229-0790. The deadline of purchase tickets is October 3rd. The menu sounds really good.
Really good.
Yes. Well, now let's take a look at what else is going on around town this week. Here's a look at your community calendar.
Finally this week, yes, it's finally here. Your local celebrities will be showing off their stuff at the 2nd annual Dancing with Celebrities Marlborough Style. The event will take place at the Best Western Hotel Royal Plaza at 7:30 p.m. The event, which is modeled after ABC's Dancing with the Stars, is sponsored by the Marlborough Junior Women's Club to benefit the Marlborough Hospital's Healing Garden Project. Now, some of this year's competitors include Karen Kisty, aide to Mayor Nancy Stevens, Nick Zalikas, Marlborough's own postmaster, and community activist Joe Rama Valiente. Mayor Nancy Stevens and Marlborough Hospital's president John Polanowitz will jumpstart the show with a waltz. Now, I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, definitely. And just make sure no one forgets the Heritage Festival this Sunday, September 30th. John Noble will be awarded. Make sure you're there for that.
Yes,
so we can't
should
wait.
be a good time.
Yes.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Kristen Doucette. Have a wonderful week.